I think we're live. Okay, we've been having some technical issues this evening, so it was hard for us. So we decided to record it again. We decided to go live one more time for your mind because we are here to provide information to our Plentyi family. So rewind and welcome, Plentyi family. Thank you for joining us for our 7 o'clock, usually 7 o'clock, but it's 8 o'clock today, Wednesday event where we provide information to prevent our family of getting into this vicious cycle of penalties, tickets, and being told, right? That's what we're about. So, listen, today we're going to talk about um, insurance lapse, New York City insurance lapse. And I'm talking about New York City vehicle insurance lapse, which I didn't even think to put that up there. Maybe that would have made more people to be inclined and actually listening to, what we're talking about. But anyway, anybody who scrolls along and sees us, just ask that you stop for a minute and just give us a chance and listen to what we say if you have a vehicle. Because if you don't have a vehicle, then it's probably not really for you. But you might know somebody who has a vehicle, right? So we're here to educate you. So today we're going to talk about how do you get $8 to $12 per day for fines if your vehicle insurance has lapsed in New York City, how your license can get suspended, how your car can get towed and impounded, which can cost you $185 if it's impounded, and $25 per day. So there are 7 ways that your vehicle, we're going to just talk about the top 7 ways that your vehicle can actually, your insurance can actually lapse. And then also the fines that are associated with your insurance absolutely lapsing. And then what ways, the steps that you can take to fix it. I'm still new to TikTok, so I can't show demos, but I'll definitely drop some links in the chat that you can go and you can try it for yourself if you're following along with us, right? So just say how does it happen for your insurance to get lapsed? You say, I pay my bills, I'm good, but there's some ways that your insurance can lapse. And we've seen it all in New York City, but we're gonna just start with the top 7, right? Number 1 is non-payment. You might miss your premium by 1 day. So just say you pay $400 a month. Like if you pay $260, $300 a month, God bless you. I love that. I have not gotten there yet, my insurance yet. But if you're paying a certain amount of money and your insurance lapses for either 1 day, what happens is your insurance company will send a notification to DMV within 24 hours. And by you missing that insurance and it actually and not paying it and it's actually canceled, that's when the insurance lapse starts, right? It starts calculating the amount of money you have to pay. Or there's a policy gap. So your old policy ends at, just say, March 29th at 11:59 p.m., but then you don't renew it until April 1st, 12:01 a.m. That means that you lapse about 2 or 3 days, and you can actually get penalized for that. Okay, so and like real story, there was an Uber driver in Queens who switched from Geico to Progressive, and there was a 3-hour gap. And since there was a 3-hour gap, they actually there was a lapse, a penalty they had to pay for that. So you want to make sure you don't put yourself in that situation, right? But that can happen. Another reason is that you have a new car. You had a new car, no insurance. You didn't file for your insurance, so you didn't let your insurance know that you have a new car. So maybe you got your car, you bought a new car. Your car is registered, but you forgot to notify your insurer that you have a new vehicle, right? DMV gives you 30 days to make sure to show proof of insurance. And if you don't show it within that time, then that's considered a lapse as well. Yeah. So, and your insurance cancels you. Like, what if your insurance cancels you? You have too many tickets. DUI, or there's fraud, but not, I know my fancy family is not into fraud, but there might have been some fraud that was done to you, right? And then your insurance gets canceled, they drop you, and it's reported instantly that they drop your insurance, and it's reported to Department of Motor Vehicles. And once it's reported, then that's considered a lapse, right? Because you haven't been able, you actually haven't insured it with another insurance company. So now you're kind of in limbo and you're just trying to figure it out. And number 5 is you surrender your plates because you're like, you know what, I'm done driving in New York. I'm done paying all this insurance money. But you forgot to cancel your insurance. You give your plates to DMV, but your policy keeps running and expires, and you never, so they, no policy, there's a lapse. You need to try to correct that and see if you can. Move to New York City from out of state. Welcome to New York City, the best, beautiful city in the whole wide world. Thank you for joining us. Doesn't count in New York. So if you have Jersey policy, it doesn't count in New York. So that means you have 90 days to switch over your insurance, right? And number 7 is the mismatch policies. So like, for example, the mismatch of names. So for example, if your registration says Rob Johnson, right? And your DMV, but your insurance says Robert J. Johnson, it can be rejected. And if it's rejected, then that could be a technical lapse. And then if they don't accept your insurance, and then you kind of, you have your vehicle, but they don't accept your insurance, then that can be that you're uninsured, right? And I've actually known somebody that happened to someone that they had their maiden name on their registration, but on their insurance they had their marriage name. And then when they went to go renew their not renew it, but actually switch over to another insurance company, and then when they submitted that information over to DMV, they rejected it because they had their maiden name, and then the insurance information was their marriage name. So that could be something that's really very minor, but can cause issues, right? So be careful of that. So what can be the biggest penalty if your insurance, your vehicle insurance lapse? Like, what is the major impact to you if it happens? Like, what's the pain that we always feel when these things happen? It's the penalties. Like, we are hit so hard with penalties. If you get a ticket, your insurance lapse, it can be a constant issue, right? So, and this is where it gets real. Like, let's be honest. So I just want to break down the 3 levels of impact that it can have if your insurance lapse. So level 3 could be civil penalties. So for example, if you have, if your insurance lapse, you can actually be paying up to $8 a day for the insurance. So if once the first day that it lapsed and up to the 30 days, you're paying $8 a day for it. That's $8. That's $240 for the insurance to lapse. And if from 31 to 60 days, so like just say 30 days pass, you haven't dealt with the issue, right? Then 31 days after, once it hits the 31st day and the issue still hasn't been resolved, then it actually increases to $10 a day. So, and that's from 31 days to 60 days, they're going to charge you $10 a day. So now you calculate that. That's $300 on top of the $240. So you're paying $240. Then on top of it, you have the $300. Now that's costing you $540. So once you hit that 60-day mark, then it actually increases to $12 a day. So now you're paying $12 a day on top of, for 60 days to 90 days, right? So then it's $540, and then they add on the extra price. Now you wind up paying $900. $900 in fees, civil penalty fees, because your insurance lapsed. Nah, can't do that, right? So we got to figure out a way to get ourselves out of these situations. And another thing could be suspension. So your registration suspension for exact the number of days you lapse. So if your insurance has lapsed for 45 days, then your registration can lapse for 45 days as well. And then if your insurance lapse for over 90 days, that can actually cause your license to get suspended. And if your license gets suspended, then you wind up paying $90 reinstatement fee when it's time to get your license reinstated, right? So level 3, and this it says, do not drive. I'm begging you, if your insurance has lapsed and you still have your vehicle on the street, like, do not drive your vehicle. I would say even park your vehicle if you can, in somebody's driveway, or you park it in a garage. Do something like that, but do not drive your vehicle, because if you drive your vehicle and you get pulled over by the police, then what happens is you can actually get yourself in a situation that you wind up paying fines. You can actually go to jail, or your car can get impounded, which can cost you up to $185 for towing, and then $25 a day for storage. And then on top of that, you paying the penalties as well. So you want to pay $900 for the penalties. I mean, that's the most you can pay, but maybe you're not at that situation. And then you want them actually paying so that they tow your vehicle. And if you get fined, then you have to pay the fine. And all of that could have prevented. We just kind of took care in the first place, right? And then there's other issues you want to think about. So, like, for example, alternate side parking. We all know alternate side parking, street cleaning, right? What happens is, if you just say suspended, just say alternate sides come in and they coming along and they looking for tickets, and your car is on the wrong side and you never took care of the situation, then you're going to get a $65 ticket and your car might get towed. If they're actually being advocate about, checking people's registration, which they probably is. And then also easy pass lanes. Like, you might have an easy pass and you're going through congestion pricing, or you're going through a tunnel, if you're going over a bridge, and then you have to pay, you're paying the $50, then you might have paid the actual toll, but then you're going to get $50 violation per crossing because you're driving uninsured. We don't want to do that, right? And if you're Uber or you're a Lyft driver, then you might, your Uber account or your Lyft account actually might be deactivated. So now, not only on top of that, right, you deactivation and, then the registration, the suspension, the license, all these other things, now you're not able to make any money. And we don't want to do that. So how do we fix this issue? How do we put ourselves in a place, like, we already talked about, like, what can happen, what all the issues, like, we already know, like, these are the problems, right? How do you get yourself in a place that you can get out of it, right? And you don't have to stay there, because we're all about preventive, but we also all about how do we help each other get out of the situation, right? So I would say, first thing you do, if you can, is to get insured. Can you get insured? I hope so. Sometimes that's hard. The money's not there. Maybe there was a reason why your car wasn't insured. So, but if you can, what you need to do is you call the insurance agent, call the insurance and tell them that you need to get insured right away, right? And they can help you with that. So you can contact, any insurance company. I use Geico. I'm not saying to use Geico, but that's what I use, right? And you can start your policy in less than 5 minutes. And then what you need to do after you do that is that you file the FS20 form. They get in about 1 to 3 minutes. And then, but don't drive your vehicle yet. You just want to make sure that that's the first step that you want to take. And then you find your DMV letter. Like, they most likely sent you a letter because they will send you out letters. And make sure you open, if you get letters from DMV, please open your mail. Yeah, open your mail, because they will send you some information that way, right? So you want to do that. And then after that, so you find the letter that you received them. If you couldn't find the letter, then you go to mydmv.ny.gov, and you you actually find the information about your. I'm gonna actually put it in a link here, so you can look at some information that can help you, insurance lapse information. So this can like give you what you need. Take that right there. But yeah, so you want it, they can actually, let's see if we can find the suspension. There's another link here. Right. I think I sent that to you. Yeah. I think that's the one here. Yeah. So the suspension order. But if you don't have the suspension order, you might need to contact them, or you can put in some other information as well. Here we go. We can help you here. Okay, so, and then the third step is to pay the civil penalties if it's under 91 days. If it's under 91 days, you want to put in the information. I added it to the chat. I gave you the link where you can actually go to. And if you have any of that, what you need to do is you go on there and you pay the penalty, right? And then once you pay the penalty, you pay with card, then the suspension actually, the clock stops, right? You're not in that little location. But if it's 90 days or over and you can't pay the money, only if it's 90 days, or you don't have the money, you can mail in your plates, right? You can mail in your plates, and then you have to then what you have to do is include a FX6 form. Receipt, proof that you've surrendered your vehicle, surrendered your plates, and then once you do that, the fines stop. You won't be fined. That's why I said, like, instead of before, if you get fined, like, next thing you need to do, like, if you can't keep it up, and you need to turn on your vehicle so you don't have to continue to get fined. And then if you are in a place that you can do this, if not, first of all, you want to make sure you restore your license. You got to get your license restored because you want to be able to drive, right? And then you pay the $50 to get and then you also have to complete a FS20 form to show that, yes, either you surrendered your vehicle or your license, your insurance has been reinstated. So you want to make sure you verify that you're clear, right? So what you do is you verify you're clear. If you have the insurance, where do you go? You go here. Pay your insurance. No, it was another website you go to. I think I already added it. Yeah, it's down here to check your status of your insurance. Check the status of your insurance to see if you're in order. Let's see here. Yep. I think that's all the links that you need right here to kind of put you in a good place, right? So then after all of that, you put yourself in a place you can drive your vehicle, or you can pay, don't have to worry about getting nasty letters from DMV. But this is what we do just to make sure. I just want to add some tips to that, right? Put yourself on auto pay, right? If you're not on auto pay, that can prevent you from like realizing that your insurance wasn't paid. I do it. It's cheaper to do it that way. Some people pay 6 months ahead of time, so they don't have to pay every month. But you can put yourself on auto pay. And then sign up for my DMV alerts. Like, I have DMV alerts. I know I get alerts I got alerts for like when my registration expired, but I sure enough didn't get an alert when they were trying to say that my registration was suspended. So I don't know how well that works, but maybe it does, but it didn't work for me. So just make sure you stay on top of it. And then rewatch, then, save this live and rewatch it, share it with people. Maybe it could be something that's be helpful for them. If you know somebody who went through a situation like that. And then I just want to add some more things. So if you sold your car, right, you want to make sure that you mail in the MV-34.91 notice of sale, and then also your plates, right? Because you want to make sure that you're not paying insurance on a vehicle that you don't own anymore. So you want to make sure you do that if you did sell your car. If your car was stolen, you want to make sure that you file a police report. Of course, we know that, but you also must submit another form to DMV, which is an NV-78B form that you have to submit to DMV. So you want to make sure you do that. So like, just say if your car was insured, your car was stolen, but you reported it to police, you also have to report it to the DMV, right? Because we want to make sure we don't get in trouble for insuring a car that we don't have, right? That's how I look at it. And then also, if you're out-of-state policy, 90 days is max. Get your New York policy now. Don't play around with that and get yourself in trouble. Okay? And if you have a mismatch, like if your name is not correct, then what you need to do is you need to file an MV-78 affidavit and update your policy. So those are things that you need to do. So thank you, family, for joining us today. We had a little technical issue which made us start an hour late. We did it at 7 o'clock, but there were some issues there. Try to do it again. So here we are. So like I said, now you should be good. Like, I done gave you some nuggets here. You probably saved you about $500 to $2,000 tonight. So this is what I need you to do. I need you to like this live. Please like it. Comment anything. Give us some feedback. Anything that you think that we said. If we said something wrong, let us know that we said something wrong so we can correct it. We are not a place that we're not shy about those things, but just make sure that is constructive criticism. It's not just blatant criticism, but it's something that can help our people that follow us, right? That's what we're all about. And share it to one of your friends who drives in New York City, who probably haven't been through this or have been through this. I know people in my family and friends who've been through this. If you had a car in New York, you probably experienced most of the things that we're talking about right now. But again, share it and follow us because next week we're going to talk about another topic. Still trying to figure out what topic is best, but anything that we can do to help anyone. So in the chat, I gave you some links. Look in those links, and those links should be able to help you if you are in this situation. So that being said, peace out, Plentyi family, Plentyi community, Plentyi people. Drive safe. Love you. Good night.